Mamdani won yesterday because the education system failed my generation. 75% of voters under the age of 30 supported Mamdani. And there are essentially two types of people in this group. First, there are the people who actually hate America and want to destroy it. You know, the ones they're chanting globalize the Intifada, want to assassinate everyone who makes more money than them, and think it's a tragedy that the Soviet Union collapsed. Then there's another group of people, probably the majority of people, who see that there are legitimate issues with New York City, but the education system has failed them so miserably that they have no idea how to fix it. Like, yes, New York City is extremely expensive, and government policy is largely what has made it that way. So of course, someone who comes in and says, well, everything's just going to be free, sounds great to people who are rightfully concerned about prices but don't know anything about economics or history. But government-controlled rent, grocery stores, and healthcare are not going to make these issues better. Because once the rich people that the Mamdani voters hate so much either leave the city completely or run out of money for the government to take, they're going to first have to deal with lower quality of services and then shortages. And this is all so frustrating for those of us who have either read a book about this stuff or who are even just paying attention to what's happening in, say, our own country in like California, or who are paying attention to other countries that have gone down this path like Venezuela or Cuba. But what's most concerning to me isn't necessarily the economic issues, even though those are going to be an issue. The bigger concern for me is the growing number of people who know what socialism is and know what it leads to, but they want it for America because they hate America and want to destroy it. And the ignorant majority is giving them what they want. Because it's not just the economy that politicians have access to, they also have access to the education system and law enforcement. And with access to these parts of our society, they can intentionally make things worse and then point to things getting worse and say, look, the American project was always doomed to fail. Mamdani is the product of a cycle where people who want America and the West destroyed are creating an environment where they can easily manipulate the ignorant majority into supporting these policies that are going to actively destroy the country. Remember that desperate people are extremely easy to manipulate. People should fear socialism the same way that they fear Nazism, and the fact that they don't shows how far the brain rot goes. The only way to beat this is to start by arming people with facts. If we can't turn this around, and turn this around soon, the country will start to look like the Soviet Union, or maybe even something worse.
Now, before we pull up this
White House
segment right here, where Zohran Mamdani is letting us know that the White House hasn't reached out to him, and I'm going to show you why they haven't reached out to him. I want to go back to the young lady. First of all, young lady, excellent job. Excellent way to communicate the point that most voters are manipulated, and it's mainly because they are not educated. Now, it's up to us to want them to be educated, but just like school, how many of y'all remember being in school? Most times you couldn't force anybody to learn something if they didn't want to learn. The people that wanted to learn, they sat closer to the teacher. They asked questions. They raised their hand. They wanted everybody else to be quiet while the lesson was coming. Or they actually studied. They actually did their homework, blah, 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 blah. Well, a lot of these adults, they don't have a teacher and instructor in front of them anymore, forcing them to learn what will actually happen in a socialist city. What will actually happen in a socialist governed country. They don't know. They don't even know what a socialist is. They don't know what a communist is. They don't know. And honestly, like the young lady said, they don't care because they've been told that they are actually oppressed. So when they see places like Palestine and Iran and Ukraine fighting for their rights because they're oppressed people, they start to believe, and these are actual American citizens who got way more freedoms than anybody around the freaking world. They start believing that they are too victims, and they want to see this country go down the sugar honey iced tea hole. And that's unfortunate because what about your siblings? What about your parents? What about your aunts, your uncles? What about your babies that you have, your actual family that you've started? What about your legacy? What about your assets and all of your ways of making money? What about that if the nation falls and crumbles the way it actually is because people are choosing to be ignorant? Now, I'm not going to sit here and judge them because I went a great majority of my life with my head buried in the sand because I didn't want to pay attention to no politics. Why? Because it was boring as I hated politics. Like walking in on my grandma in that daggone small ass house across the street from Anacostia High School. Small 1-bedroom house that she lived in. Oh my gracious. And she was always in there chewing on snuff, spitting in a big old can, and watching news. Watching the news. And if she wasn't watching the news, when it turned nighttime and she really wanted to turn up, she cut on MASH. I didn't want to watch that. So my wife actually said something extremely conservative earlier today. Me, her, and JoJo, we went to Silver Diner to get something to eat because she loves breakfast. And their breakfast is actually pretty good. I had an omelet. I had a steak omelet and some banana and pecan pancakes, which was different for me, but it was actually really good. But she said people shouldn't be allowed to vote unless they know the 3 branches of the government. I said, babe. She said, yes. I said, do you realize how conservative you sound right now? You actually want people to have knowledge of what they're voting for? That's conservative. And JoJo said, yeah, Ma, you do. You sound conservative. Ain't that something? That the people who sound educated are conservative, and the people that just go with the flow and just want to raise their fist in their air and say, you do it. I just want to live my life. You handle it. I just want to leave my life. Leave me alone. And if I commit any crimes, I didn't know about it. So can I get out early and not have to go to jail for the crime I committed? It's just a crazy world we live in. Okay, check this out.
The White House hasn't reached out to congratulate me. I continue to be interested in having a conversation with President Trump on the ways in which we can work together to serve New Yorkers, whether that be delivering on his campaign promises around cost of living or the many issues that New Yorkers have been sharing with me about the drastic impacts that the legislation that President Trump has ushered through Washington will mean for them and their lives. Too often we understand these impacts solely at an individual level, but if we just speak a little bit more about SNAP benefits, these are not just affecting the close to 2 million New Yorkers who are on SNAP, these also affect the grocery stores across our city. There were a number of mom and pop owned grocery stores that spoke to me about the fact that in the Bronx, SNAP revenues make up more than a quarter of all of their revenue. And this has the impact of decimating their ability to keep their doors open.
He's absolutely correct in some things that he said, but what he don't realize is that socialism will not fix that. Now, the people who get SNAP benefits, those are the people that come to the moms and pop stores that's in the local delis or bodegas in New York and spend their money. The same way a lot of barbers are starting to lose their jobs and a lot of hairstylists and a lot of nail techs because the women who come to them often to get their hair done, the men and women who come to get their hair done and get their nails done and whatnot, they are on SNAP benefits. They have EBT. So since they can't afford to come get their hair done, I don't know if the American taxpayer knew that that's what they were paying for, but you are. Not that's neither here nor there, but sir, you're still not coming up with any plans. Also, I want you to pay attention to this one thing right here. Listen to how humble he sounds. Now, he's still throwing Trump under the bus for his conservative ideologies, but he's very humble. He does not sound the way he sounded when he was giving his acceptance speech. Right now, he said, I haven't heard from the president. I would love to talk to him and work with him and see how we can blah, 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 blah. Well, maybe you had a little bit of juice and crackers the night when you did this video right here.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Now, here's the thing, man. I wish him nothing but the best. Anybody that gets in office become a mayor, a senator, congressman, a governor, whatever. If you're in office because people voted for you, I wish you the best. I want you to be successful. I don't want him to fail. I want you to do some great things. Not only do I want you to succeed, I don't want you only to succeed and look good, but I want the city to look good. I want the state to look good. I don't want it to crash, because I too am waiting to see socialism actually work somewhere. I want to see communism work in one place so we can have a model to go after. Which model are we following? Because right now we don't have one. Well, we might have a few. Maybe I'm just not learned enough to be able to name a whole bunch of communist societies that actually work. But here's Trump right here saying that he wished the brother well. He just haven't spoken to him yet.
I'm so torn, because I would like to see the new mayor do well, because I love New York. I really love New York.
See?
When I left New York for Washington, New York was doing really well, but there were some bad signs. The bad sign was a guy named de Blasio.
Wasn't this the guy that said if you take the COVID shot, you'll get some free cheeseburgers and free fries? He'll throw some fries in it and a drink if you take the COVID shot. Man, this dude is not serious.
So the signs of de Blasio, that was the beginning, and it was bad. This one, we're going to look. For 1,000 years, communism has not worked. Communism, or the concept of communism, has not worked. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time.
Did you see his victory speech?
It's literally never worked. Yeah, I thought it was a very angry speech, certainly angry toward me, and I think he should be very nice to me. You know, I'm the one that sort of has to approve a lot of things coming to him, so he's off to a bad start.
So, you want to speak to somebody, you want to work with somebody, you might want to take a page out of Stephen A's book when he was speaking to Jasmine Crockett, letting her know that if you want anything from this president, you don't want to start throwing sugar honey iced tea on it, start to act like you bigger than you are, being all flamboyant, talking about turn the volume up, trying to, come on, bro. Like, that's not the best way to get to it. He clearly watched you. He clearly watched you, but you started on the same foot as Timu Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, was it Chuck Schumer, and all the other gang, man. But feel free, jump in, do your Doug Thizzle, man. I pray for the best, and yeah, I'll see you on the next. We have been helping people grow online. It has been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators get from zero to monetization in under 30 days. We even have a couple of these superstars who did it in 1 or 2 weeks. If you want to learn how to do YouTube, I don't care your age, I don't care what skills or talents you have. Trust me, I can help you do it effortlessly. Just reach out to me with the word coach and we can get it done. One more thing. We have a YouTube course that I just now created. I'm extremely proud of, and a lot of people are getting so much from. Purchase that course and work with us. You can join our private Facebook group and our daily group calls, which is 3 to 5 days per week, and you can learn so much more than you've ever learned before. I can't wait to hear from you. Love you. Peace.